What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And obviously you can see I'm traveling. The audio is probably not the best, and I can tell you it won't be in this video. I caught Lee Zeldin popping up on an interview and I tried to find it online after the fact and I couldn't find it. But we did catch it on TV. The audio is going to suck. You're going to have to turn it all the way up to hear what he says. But he clarifies a lot of stuff, and he talks about something very specific that all of the retards on the pro-emission side here on YouTube don't get. And Lee Zeldin made it very clear that the EPA is no longer regulating emissions from mobile sources. And when they clarify in the interview, they ask about, does that mean like cars and trucks? Cars, trucks, farm equipment, buses, semi-trucks. So if they're no longer regulating emissions, wouldn't that mean that all the emissions regulations went out the window? Yeah, about that. Some people, live here, speak English every day, and just don't understand the language. We're going to talk about all that and more right after this. All right, guys, so Lee Zeldin did get into this interview. We're going to get into that here in just a second. But I don't know why I'm catching something on my throat, man. Damn. Before we do, we got to talk about the giveaway. Today is the last day for the Ram 2500 PowerWagon. It will end tonight at 12:01 a.m. going into the 17th. We will probably announce the winner on the 18th, maybe the 19th. It really depends on the travel schedule. We might even do it on the day of the 17th if everything works out well, travel schedule-wise, and if the sweepstakes company is able to pull everything I need to get that done. That said, if you want to get in on that Ram 2500 PowerWagon, the extra entries are up. It is President's Day, so I was like, we can just let that run till it closes out. That gives people an opportunity to have the most chance to win in terms of entries. I want to give a major shout out and thank you to all of our people that were in the Valentine's Day special. Our 5 winners were all contacted. I received responses from some of them, and their extra entries have been added. If you want to get involved on this Ram 2500 PowerWagon, someone is going to win it here in the next few days. And if they're anywhere in my general vicinity, meaning within like a 15-hour drive, I'll be delivering that vehicle personally. You can get in by going to tk'sgarage.bigcartel.com. Link will be in the description. All right, so we're going to get directly into the interview or what Lee Zeldin said. I want you to pay attention to it. I missed maybe like the first 15 seconds of it. And if you're able to find it, cool. Definitely look at it, if you can find it. At the time of me recording this, I couldn't find it. So here we are. But let's go ahead and jump into the interview.
Saved. For an American family, that means over $2,400 less that their new vehicle is going to cost them. It means that they can go out and buy a car without it including that climate participation trophy for manufacturers of that start-stop feature that just about everybody hates. It's about following the law, the rule of law, and having agencies that are run by people who are just going to follow the best reading of the law and statute rather than going rogue and putting trillions of dollars in new regulations on the American people. This is a big victory for freedom of choice.
So look at some of the time, as expected, the New York Times didn't love it. The Trump administration, they say, erases the government's power to fight climate change. Politico, Trump just wiped out 17 years of climate policy. The Guardian says this: Trump's EPA repeals landmark climate funding is a gift to billionaire polluters. Your reaction to that retort?
We're going to follow the law. The Supreme Court in recent years issued these decisions like Loper Bright, West Virginia versus EPA, Michigan versus EPA. These cases ended up making it very clear that one, a major policy, like trillions of dollars of regulation, maybe should be debated and voted on by Congress. The Supreme Court said that. Or what about in Loper-Bright overturning the Chevron doctrine? They say that we have to follow the best reading of the law. No longer can somebody like me say, well, the law doesn't say that I can't, so therefore I can as some head of an agency. No, we got to follow the law. If Congress wants to regulate the heck out of greenhouse gas emissions, then they can debate and vote on it and change federal statute. And guess what? If they change the law, then we'll follow that.
And by the way, the New York Post very much in support. A good picture. If we want to take a shot of that, you see the president in the car essentially saying, "You got it back," and that headline says, "Man on a mission," and then expands on what changes now. So President Obama not happy. The Trump administration repealed the endangerment finding, the ruling that served as the basis for limits of tailpipe emissions. Without it, we'll be less safe, less healthy, less able to fight climate change. Also, so fossil fuel industry can make even more money. Al Gore also not happy. The Trump administration's rollback of the endangerment finding is not only a direct assault on science, knowledge, and public health, it's an insult to the people across the country who are already coping with the disastrous consequences of climate-driven extreme weather events. Your answer to them?
Notice that none of them are telling me to follow the law. None of them are citing the Clean Air Act and telling me to follow the law because they all know what happened here. When President Obama was in office, President Obama, his administration, his allies in Congress tried to change the Clean Air Act to give themselves the authority to do what they ended up eventually just deciding on their own. You know what? We can't get the votes. Well, we're just going to do it anyway. And through the Obama administration, the Biden administration, what started as an endangerment finding as it relates to mobile sources, they then expanded to stationary sources, oil and gas, airplanes, and put forward trillions of dollars of regulation without ever getting the votes in Congress to pass a new law to be able to do it. They just did it on their own.
So, are you worried about the environment? Are you worried about the ozone layer? Are you worried about greenhouse gases? Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, our core mission is protecting human health and the environment, and with great pride, EPA on the 1-year anniversary of President Trump's term in office put out a list of 500 top environmental accomplishments, and we're proud of it. Whether it's stopping raw sewage from coming across from Tijuana in Southern California, it was our historic agency response to the wildfires in LA and beyond, all across America, land, air, and water. We have been notching victories every single day, and we're damn proud of it.
Real quick, you got another job. You're trying to straighten out everything in California. People can't get rebuilds on their houses. They can't get permits. They can't get insurance. You're the permit czar out in Los Angeles. What's your focus? What impact have you already made since those wildfires over a year ago?
I was just on the ground in LA, about to go back out again, met with the city mayor and her team, the county supervisor, Catherine Barger, and her team. I have people on the ground, and so now the Trump administration is going beyond what are traditional, conventional federal responsibilities. President Trump, 1 year after the wildfires, so upset that people still weren't able to rebuild, he sent me out there and said, you know what, let's start working on all sorts of non-federal roadblocks, obstacles, hurdles, and just tear through those log jams as well.
Right.
So we've seen all sorts of permits get across the finish line. We're working on that. Insurance and other aspects of this, just blazing a trail to help with this get this done. President Trump wants nothing less. We're on it.
I do think it's so funny. The Trump doctrine is, if somebody's doing a good job, give them another one. And that's what you got, Lee. You got another very hard job, but you seem to love it and doing a great job at it. Lee Zeldin, thanks so much.
So there you have it. Like I said, look, it's very simple, man. You know, it was the same thing when the president got on stage in Iowa and said that he was doing away, or he did away with diesel exhaust fluid requirements, right? Meaning getting rid of it, making it required that manufacturers have to put it on vehicles. It's not required. I got so much flack for that. So many people, okay, so I'm not supposed to report that the president of the United frickin' States just said diesel exhaust fluid is no longer required. I'm not supposed to report that? Like, he literally said it on stage. This is the part about the climate nut swingers, right? They make so much money off of YouTube for, I'm just being honest and telling you the facts. You're telling, what did they call those? What do the Democrats call alternative facts? Is that what it's called? Alternative facts. That's what the Democrats do. They give you alternative facts. There's no such thing as alternative facts. Either somebody said something or they didn't say something. And me personally, I'm not going by what somebody on YouTube that swings from the nutsack of the California Air Resource Board and makes money off of smog stations. Why am I going to believe what somebody says that comes from there? I'm not. That would be like me telling you that war is a good thing, and I'm a I make money off of war. Okay, I am a defense contractor. I make more money the more shit that our country gets involved in. You shouldn't believe anything I say when it comes to anything at the Department of War, okay? I'm gonna be biased. But that's the thing for me is these officials literally say X, Y, and Z. We report what the officials say, but somehow we're spreading misinformation and lies. Huh. Okay. Yeah, see, we do what's called actual news here. Same way, I love it. It's the same thing when we do our Mopar stuff and I talk about a vehicle that's coming or a feature that's coming or the engine that's coming in a vehicle. And it will be 6 months before they're even building mules of that vehicle or test vehicles. And then it comes out and then all the reporters report it. And I'm like, I told you so, told you this 6 months ago. And it's the same thing, man. You know, like, we get the information. Now, I get the same information that anybody else here could get. They publicly say this shit. This is not hard. You know, maybe they should turn on the news sometimes. I don't know. I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. You know, I don't even want to say that. It's kind of a low blow, but I mean, maybe they need to get some ass or something. Maybe they need to go out into the world and, you know, go down to Huntington Beach or something, or go down to Newport Beach. And actually, that's probably too high class for them. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And as always, stay petty, my friends, because you know my fucking ass is going to stay petty.